maybe I'm forcing myself into this group program because I've heard so many times that's how you're going to make the money. But, so when I think deep down, am I like passionate, dying to create this? No.
So we hear this kind of thing all the time when we're talking to our clients, when we're coaching them through their struggles. Um, and a lot comes up for me when I hear that, Deirdre. What about for you?
Yeah, I've heard this so many times, and I think there's always trends, right? There's trends in marketing, there's trends in business, and sometimes you need to ride a trend or use a trend, but you got to know when to and when not to. And that's not the foundation of your business. And I think that's where a lot of people think they just move from trend to trend to trend, and then they end up just really, wiping themselves out and burning out. You really have to go back to, we got to have that foundation of a sound strategy that's been tried and tested and true. And you don't want to spend all your time building up something that you're just going to have to burn it down and do something all over again in a year or so when things change.
Yeah. And I think a real good indicator for you, for anybody, I'm speaking to anyone who's listening right now, is if you're looking at something and dragging your feet about it, well, right there, that's an energy. That's some kind of signal that this thing is not resonating with you. And so, that's what was happening with this client. They kept saying they wanted to do this, but they were dawdling about it, and we were like, well, why do you want to do this? And it's just because that's what they've heard is the way to do it. Well, there are a million ways to do it, to do almost anything in business. And that's what Deirdre and I love to work with our clients on, is discovering what is that one special thing that's unique to them, or what is the strategy that helps light them up instead of draining them of energy. I mean, it's no fun if you're going through things and you're forcing yourself. I mean, when you do that and you have that energy, then other people, the people who you try to sell something like that you created in that energy to, they're not going to be attracted to it, because that does come through somehow energetically for others.
That's right. And, when we talk a little more specifically about, creating this course and, what her dilemma was, her goal was to scale her business and to make more money, but not spend more time. And so it seems logical, right? That, okay, well, this is how you do it. That you got to build a group, you got to build a program, and just send everybody through this course. And so therefore you're leveraging your time, right? Because you're being able to serve more people. But it's, if you're not passionate about it, like if you don't feel like that's the right strategy or that's something you can really get behind and you really love doing it that way, it doesn't matter if it's worked for other people. It's probably not going to work for you. And like Carmen said, there's a bunch of different ways that you can get to the goal. All roads lead to Rome. There's lots of different ways. So you don't have to do it that particular way. And just because a lot of people are doing it that way and had success, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're stuck with it. There is a way to build this strategy out to where it aligns with not just your income goal, but your lifestyle goal and the impact goal that you have. And a lot of people don't think about that. Like, what is the impact you want to make in the world? What kind of transformation do you want to bring to people and how many? And that requires some long-term thinking. And that's one of the things we do that with every client. We take them out, let's think about the future, because that is what's going to inform what we build and put together today. You don't want to build a house with 2 bedrooms if you plan on having, a large family, right? That's not something that would be really smart to do. It's the same thing with your business. You don't build this little tiny box if you really want to build this out and have it be much bigger in the future.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. And another thing to consider is it's almost like if the masses are doing something, well, let's do the opposite. And maybe we don't have to do the exact opposite, but the fact that is a big wave of people doing the same thing means that you're going to be able to help yourself stand apart if you listen to what's true for you, even if it goes against the grain, right? I mean, people always want to know how to be unique, how to stand apart. How do you attract the right people? Well, if you're doing everything that everyone else is doing, you're just going to attract the people that everyone else is attracting. You're not going to attract those people that are true to you because you're not being true to you. I mean, it really gets down to that level, you know. It's about going inside and understanding who you are and what really does light you up, what feeds your energy and boosts your energy and gets you excited. Because if anyone is out here who has started a business, you have a passion. Like, what are you so passionate about that you wanted to do this? If you've now worked yourself into a place where you're just going through the motions and doing these things because you're quote unquote supposed to, well, there's no passion in that. So that's how burnout happens. You know, we start doing the things that we think we should, but we lose touch of what the passion is. And I think that, you know, if everyone else is doing it, don't do it, and listen to what's happening inside so that you can do the thing that lights you up. And that's how you're going to attract the right people for you.
Mm-hmm. And one more thought that comes to mind too is not only do you need to like do what lights you up as far as what your business is and how you're helping people and what that transformation and impact is, you also need to do the day-to-day things that light you up. Now, I'm not saying that every single thing you do all day in your business is going to be the thing you love to do. I mean, we all have to do certain things we don't, particularly like to do, especially when you're beginning to build and scale your business. You are, you're the chief, you have to do a whole lot of the things in the beginning. And later on, you can pass those off to a team member. But in the beginning, you've got to do it. But it's important to know, what are you going to spend the majority of your time doing? If the majority of your time is going to be spent, face to face with people and being in conversation, and if that's not something that you enjoy doing, it's going to be really difficult. And so you may have to do it, but you shouldn't build your entire strategy around it, is what I'm saying. So you want to kind of know, for some people, building a group program or building a course, that they love that. That's their genius zone. It's how they love to work. They're able to do it in a way that gets people a big result at the end and a transformation. So it is not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, you got to make sure that it's right for you. And it's not a simple answer. It's really, that's what building strategy is all about.
So if you want to learn more about how to build a business that is true to you, join us inside our free Facebook community. It's the Empire of Unstoppable Women, and the link is below. We will see you there.